3 in 5 Canadians say the latest interest rate increase will further hurt their finances. That's according to a poll by the Angus Reid Institute. For more on what Canadians are saying, we're joined by Shachi Kurl, president of the Angus Reid Institute. Thanks so much for making time for us today.
Thanks for having me, as always.
So you've been checking in with Canadians along the way. I mean, we've had 10 rate increases now. We're up to 5% in terms of that overnight lending rate from the Bank of Canada. What are Canadians saying about the impact that this latest one is having on their personal finances?
Well, Jacqueline, the fact that 1 in 3 are telling us that it is going to have a significant negative impact on their finances. You know, initially when we saw those interest rates starting to creep up, there were among Canadians across the income spectrum saying, hey, well, maybe I might get a little bit more rate of return on my savings. Maybe this isn't such a bad thing. We're well past that point now. And you have, as I say, 1 in 3 talking about a significant impact, another quarter talking about a minor negative impact, but still, not good on the bad side of that trend. And across that, it is a mix of people struggling to pay for groceries, struggling to pay rent, really very worried about their mortgages, and putting off any last discretionary spending that might have been available to them, saying, you know, this is not the time for a vacation. This is not the time for a major home purchase.
Yeah, and tell us about those homeowners, because, we've heard from the Bank of Canada about how the wave of people renewing mortgages is going to continue. Not everybody has had to do so far, though people with variable rate mortgages have been feeling this all along, perhaps. What are you hearing from homeowners in particular, those with a mortgage?
Oh my gosh, if you are someone dealing with a variable rate these days, like, God bless you. That's all I've got to say to those folks. There are a number of mortgage payers right now who, if they are not seeing their rate increase because they've still got some time before they come up for renewal, they are watching the clock very carefully, and they are very worried about what happens when I do come up for renewal, because a $2,500 or a $3,000 a month mortgage payment suddenly very quickly becomes something far more unsustainable. If you locked in at 2% or less than 2% and you're dealing with a 5 and frankly, when we're dealing with mortgages now, it's creeping up 6, 7%. Can you just imagine the differential? It's a doubling, sometimes more than a doubling. On top of that, these are the same individuals who have put every last penny of their equity into those homes. They're still having to pay for groceries. They're still having to pay for the other life items that are costing more, and the squeeze is on. For renters, of course, it's there too, because more people at this stage are probably looking to rent than they are to buy, given those prohibitive mortgage rates. So it's affecting both. But when we look at the fact that nearly 70% of mortgage payers who also say that this is going to have a negative impact on them are already telling us that paying a mortgage is difficult, we really do see a significant and really potentially millions of Canadians saying that they could be underwater if this keeps up. So, if you're at the year 1 or year 2 of that 5-year locked-in mortgage, maybe things are looking up because you figure you can ride the wave. If you're coming up on renewal this year or next year, it's a very scary time.
Shachi, just quickly, what are people saying in terms of what they think the Bank of Canada should be doing with interest rates?
Well, of course, Canadians themselves are not economists. We leave it to the economists at the Bank of Canada to set monetary policy. But this monetary policy, for a significant number of armchair economists, that is the Canadian public, they're saying, okay, enough is enough. It's either time to freeze the rates where they are for a while or lower those rates even by a little bit to provide some relief to Canadians. Of course, the counterpoint and the counterpunch to that is the minute that happens, there's more stimulus in the economy. Inflation goes back up again. But nobody thought that this was going to be an enjoyable process. Yeah. And indeed, Canadians themselves are saying this is hurting a lot. Yeah.